Hi there, everyone. Here's some of what's heading your way tonight to your news at 9.
More than 100 healthcare workers at Mercy Hospital get the initial doses of COVID-19 vaccine. I'm Zach Dodge with what it's taken to get here, coming up.
Plus, workers at Integris Hospital in Grove and Miami, Oklahoma get vaccinated with some of the first doses in that state. Teachers in Oklahoma are getting higher priority for that COVID-19 vaccine.
Vaccinations are ramping up across the country as some states weigh new COVID-19 restrictions. I'm Casey Stiegel. We've got the latest coming up from Texas.
Doug Eddy is weather tonight. Jacob Leonard has sports. This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Jordan Abbey. More than 100 more healthcare workers in Joplin received the COVID-19 vaccine. Mercy Hospital received its initial shipment of Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine on Tuesday. Between then and today, they had vaccinated around 50 employees. Now they're ramping it up. KOAM's Zach Dodge has details.
There was a lot of excitement and newfound feelings of hope this morning as surgeons, pediatricians, and paramedics rolled up their sleeves for that first long-awaited dose. William Bolus, a paramedic and ER doctor, was the first today to get that dose.
No, it's kind of the first of the first, but I say it's a positive thing until proven otherwise.
Everyone that comes through the door is just, we see hope. We're, really ready.
Mercy is one of only 20 healthcare providers in Missouri to be part of the state's initial distribution, receiving around 1,900 doses directly from Pfizer just days after the FDA gave the vaccine emergency approval.
It's been weeks of planning that's taken place to really be able to bring this to fruition.
In preparation, the hospital had to rent an ultra-cold freezer capable of storing the vaccines that require sub-zero temps and arrive in a bed of dry ice.
When we do place it in our ultra cold freezer, we do have 6 months to be able to utilize that, but we're hoping to use it much sooner than that. Usually within 10 days is our plan.
Once they're ready to give it, they just have to worry about timing, since the vaccine is only good for a certain amount of time after it's thawed. Otherwise, though, it's a lot like a flu shot. So understanding the work that went into this moment just makes the occasion even more exciting.
There's been a lot of work effort up to this point, so being able to get that many of our co-workers here and vaccinated has been a blessing.
The hospital will receive their second shipment within a few weeks so they can give the second doses of the vaccine to those workers. Reporting in Joplin, Zach Dodge, KOAM News.
More than 200 healthcare workers at Mercy have now received the initial dose of vaccine. The hospital says they haven't had any reports of serious adverse reactions. Joplin Health Department is reporting 2 new coronavirus-related deaths. Officials say the patients were a 62-year-old man and a 83-year-old woman who was a resident of a long-term care facility. Joplin's total COVID-19 deaths is now 82. The Newton County Health Department is reporting 4 more COVID-19 deaths. The patients were 2 women in their 80s, a man in his 70s, also a man in his 60s. Newton County's total deaths attributable to COVID-19 is now 61. Over in Oklahoma, Integris Hospital in Grove and Miami received some of the first doses of the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine. Some physicians and staff members at the hospital received the vaccine today. For these frontline heroes, it's a relief as they continue to fight the virus.
This instills confidence in our staff. They do have confidence, and we do everything that we can for them with our personal protective equipment.
In a news release, Integris officials said employees were eager to also instill trust in the vaccine for the public. Oklahoma is giving teachers higher priority when it comes to getting that coronavirus vaccine. Governor Kevin Stitt announced teachers are being moved from the 3rd phase of vaccinations to the 2nd phase in an effort to return schools to in-person classes. State Commissioner of Health said he expects phase 2 to begin during the first part of 2021, possibly in January. Oklahoma has reported more than 248,000 coronavirus cases and more than 2,100 deaths since this pandemic began. The coronavirus showing no signs of slowing down as states feel the effects of holiday travel and gatherings. This comes as we near emergency use authorization for another vaccine. Fox News correspondent Casey Stiegel has more.
Moderna's vaccine moving one step closer to joining the fight against COVID-19. An expert panel reviewing the candidate's effectiveness today. Just like Pfizer's vaccine, the FDA makes the final decision whether to greenlight Moderna's formula. But an authorization is likely after federal regulators confirmed the vaccine's safety earlier this week.
The FDA weighs the advice that it receives when taking actions on medical products.
Some 5.9 million doses of Moderna's candidate will be shipped out if authorized. Another round of Pfizer's vaccine will go out in the coming days, with the majority of nursing homes planning to vaccinate staff and residents starting Monday.
People just being exhausted from the COVID outbreak. What a great time for this to come. Really to put an end, hopefully, to this virus.
Public health officials say another vaccine simply can't come soon enough. The U.S. has now surpassed 17 million coronavirus infections, the daily number of deaths topping 3,000 for another day on Wednesday. Hard-hit areas like New York City weighing another round of restrictions in the coming weeks.
Certainly right after Christmas is a natural moment when the world kind of slows down a little bit.
Vice President Mike Pence will receive a coronavirus vaccine at a public event on Friday, trying to show Americans that it is safe and to get one when they can. That is the latest from Dallas. Casey Stiegel, Fox News.
There is a glimmer of hope for the hotel industry after news of the FDA's first COVID-19 vaccine approval. The number of bookings for hotels such as Hyatt, Marriott, and Best Western, and booking platforms like Kayak, Hotwire, and Priceline saw the largest jump in daily bookings since March. This all according to new data shared with Fox Business from travel technology company RateGain. The company runs bookings for those travel websites. It saw more than 9,000 transactions processed in the United States on December 11th. Now, some of the most popular destinations for travel bookings, some trivia here, since December 11th included Orlando, Atlanta, Houston, San Antonio, Austin, New Orleans, Nashville, Jacksonville, and Fort Walton Beach, Florida, Las Vegas, Charlotte, North Carolina, and Oceanside, California. KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14 takes this time to honor one of our four-state heroes. Donald Evans served in the U.S. Army from 1955 to 66. A native of Brona, Missouri, Evans was stationed in Germany and Korea. We are proud to thank Donald Evans. He is tonight's four-state hero. Doug is next with a complete look at the forecast, and a bit later, the latest on negotiations going on Capitol Hill for another round of pandemic relief.
Well, of course, it turned out to be a much better day for us today. We finally broke 40 degrees, something we have not done in 6 days. So it was nice to get above that mark and have plenty of sunshine across the region. We do have clouds, which are rolling in now, but still a pretty good shot. Indigo Sky Casino and Resort, of course. This is just outside of Seneca, Missouri. Temperature is cooling back down. It's not extremely cold. It's not going to be near as cold as what we had over the past couple nights. 35 in Iola, Welch, 32 in Anderson, Lamar is sitting at 35 degrees. I think most of us will drop back near 30 later on tonight. But the southerly winds are going to keep our temperatures up just a bit. They're out of the south at about 5 to 10, but they're really going to increase during the daytime hours for us tomorrow. Let's go ahead, look outside. Currently 37, south winds 5 to 10. Humidity is at 76%. And you can see those clouds, which have been increasing over the past couple hours. These are mid and upper level clouds, but slowly thickening up tonight into tomorrow. You can see the cloud deck out to our west. This is our next storm system, which is centered right across central parts of Utah. And this system is going to rotate through tomorrow night into Saturday. Now, it's fairly weak. It's not going to do a whole bunch for us, but it will give us the clouds. The winds will pick up out ahead of it, and we will get a few random showers tomorrow night. Tonight's fine. We drop back into lower 30s. We warm up actually quite a bit tomorrow. We're going to go all the way up into the mid-50s. 31 to start, 49 by noon, high temp of 54. So it's going to be a pretty nice day. Now look at the winds, southwest winds at 15 to 25. Those are sustained, but the gusts are going to be much higher than that. Clouds continue to thicken tomorrow evening. By midnight, we'll see a few random light little tiny showers in here. A few light little showers into Saturday morning. There could be a flake mixed in, and then this system pulls east. Saturday is going to be a little bit cooler, but still not a bad day. Sunday will be definitely the better of the 2 weekend days. But look at the winds tomorrow. By morning, we're going to have winds gusting 25 upwards to 30. By afternoon, we're going to have winds gusting 40, maybe even 45 miles per hour. Let's go ahead down the road. Sunday looks great. Monday looks great. Tuesday looks great. Tuesday, we're going to go pushing 70 during the afternoon. Clouds increase. An Arctic front drops in on Wednesday. Most of the moisture is going to be east of us, but we'll see a few showers, may see a few snow showers. But the biggest thing with this system is the cold. So here's Thursday, Christmas Eve, and then heading into Christmas Day, there is a slight chance we could get a few snow showers on Christmas Eve, but it's really going to be the cold that sets in late next week. 54 tomorrow, 47 morning showers on Saturday, 50 on Sunday, 60 on Monday, 65 on Tuesday, and then 52 and dropping on Wednesday, and a high of only 35 on Christmas Eve, even colder on Christmas Day. So we'll keep our eyes on that system as we head through the next few days. Jordan?
All right, Doug, thanks so much. Our annual Fox 14 Feed the Four States is underway. Each year, we ask you to donate non-perishable food items or money to buy food for area food banks. These donations are especially important during the pandemic this year. You can make food donations at any Westco home furnishing store or directly at a food bank. You can make a financial donation next Monday, the 21st, during our Feed the Four States telethon starting at 9 right here on Fox 14. Or, as always, you can donate through our website. See it right there, KOAMnewsnow.com. Coming up, ever so close.
Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell says coronavirus relief talks are on the 1-yard line. I'm Ray Bogan with why it may take into the weekend to get into the end zone, coming up.
Tyson Foods has fired 7 top managers at a Waterloo, Iowa pork plant. Investigation found evidence they were part of a betting ring, placing bets on how many workers would contract the coronavirus. An outbreak at the plant in the spring infected more than 1,000 employees. At least 6 workers passed away. The independent investigation was led by former U.S. Attorney General Eric Holder. Just over a week remains until Christmas Day, but lawmakers say they're not going to leave the nation's capital until another coronavirus stimulus deal is reached. Fox News correspondent Ray Bogan has the latest on where negotiations stand.
Congressional leaders are optimistic a coronavirus relief package could be done in a matter of days. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell says they're on the 1-yard line, but it may take a weekend session to get into the end zone.
Our citizens can't afford for us to get bogged down in the back and forth. Let's finish up our bipartisan framework. Let's make law as soon as possible. That's what our people deserve.
We have a responsibility to get this right. People's lives depend upon it.
A White House spokesman says, "We're optimistic we can reach an agreement within the next 24 to 48 hours. Lawmakers will likely have to pass a temporary funding measure because the federal government will run out of money Friday night. Then they want to pass permanent funding for 2021 and the relief package together.
I cannot imagine the unforgivable and embarrassing tragedy it would be if the government is shut down for our failure to reach a decision.
Help is urgently needed. 885,000 Americans filed for first-time unemployment benefits last week. The bill could help some of those workers get back on the payroll, with $300 billion for small businesses and the Paycheck Protection Program. Those who remain unemployed will receive an extra $300 a week. The deal may also give Americans a holiday bonus in the form of $600 stimulus checks. Ray Bogan, Fox News.
Just ahead, trying to reverse the wrong that has stood for a century and to finally recognize important history.
Major League Baseball steps up to the plate. I'm Kevin Cork in Washington with more on how baseball history was just made. That's coming up.
For decades, a baseball league entertained crowds of fans, smashed records, and produced some of the best sluggers in history, but it was never officially recognized by Major League Baseball itself until now. Fox News correspondent Kevin Cork has this story.
A major step forward for Major League Baseball. MLB announcing Wednesday it's designating the Negro Leagues as a major league, calling it a long overdue recognition. 100 years after the Negro League's founding, the names, stats, and records of about 3,400 black players from 1920 through 1948 will now become a part of Major League Baseball history.
It is a move in the right direction to acknowledge that the two streams of baseball, black and white, running in parallel between 1920 and 1948, may now merge.
The 7 different leagues saw some of the greatest players of all time, including Josh Gibson, considered one of the best hitters and catchers in history, Satchel Paige, the legendary pitcher who attracted record crowds, and even Jackie Robinson, who only played for one season before he broke the baseball color barrier. 35 of these players have already been inducted into the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame, though some of them were never invited to play a single Major League Baseball game.
There is no record, whether it's Josh Gibson's batting average or Satchel Paige's won-loss total, that resonates with me as does the inclusion of more than 3,400 players, most of them dead, whose family can now point to them in the Major League Baseball record book.
This is the latest marker of a nationwide reckoning with race. It also comes just days after the Cleveland Indians announced they will change their nickname after 105 years. In Washington, I'm Kevin Cork, Fox News.
A new discovery of how kangaroos are trying to talk to us. Yeah, there's something right there. You catch that? He's trying to talk to us. Gonna hop into some details when we come back. Scientists say kangaroos might be able to communicate with us like domesticated animals do. Researchers from London and Sydney gave the kangaroos food trapped inside a plastic container. When the animals couldn't open the boxes, they would look at a nearby human like, come on, dude, give me some help here. Sometimes they would even nudge the human or scratch them to ask for help. See that? He's talking to us. He's looking at us. 9 of the 11 kangaroos would alternate their gaze between the container and the person. It had been thought only domesticated animals like dogs, cats, and sometimes goats were capable of that type of intentional connection. Let me tell you, those of us with dogs in particular know dogs can give us some looks, right? Yeah, my Cocker Spaniel a lot of times gives me a look that only my wife knows how to give me. It goes right through your soul. And I stop whatever I'm doing. It works. 30 more minutes, news, weather, and sports coming your way.
Cotty College in Nevada, Missouri is using a new kind of test as it works to keep students and staff safe from the coronavirus. Details are coming up.
Plus, Pittsburgh Salvation Army is asking for extra support this year for their Red Kettle campaign. Also, outside work officially begins on a new storm shelter out in Neosho, Missouri.
Folks in the Northeast are digging out after the first big nor'easter of the season. I'm Molly Line in Waltham, and I'll have the details coming up.
Cotty College in Nevada, Missouri is using a new kind of rapid response coronavirus test as it works to keep the campus population safe from COVID-19. KOAM's Mike Mahoney paid the college a visit to learn more.
Nevada, Missouri's Cotty College is one of 28 Missouri universities to receive a new kind of COVID-19 test kit from the Department of Education and Workforce Development. They're called Binax Now tests, and they work fast.
The ability to turn a test result in 15 minutes as opposed to 2 or 3 days allows us to more quickly identify the people who actually have a positive case of COVID-19, and we need to be very aggressive in contact tracing.
Cotty College has only had the test since Thanksgiving break, but has already incorporated them into their campus safety protocols.
At this point, if we need to administer those tests for other reasons that are not just symptomatic individuals, we have the leeway to do that. We're still working through what those plans will look like specifically for the spring semester.
And while those spring semester testing plans still need to be finalized, the college is in a good position to take care of its 300 returning students as well as staff and faculty.
We have these rapid response tests. It's another tool in our toolbox, but we also still have our other testing program as well in place. And we're going to utilize our healthcare providers to make the decisions that make the most sense for when to use each of those types of tests.
In Nevada, Missouri, Mike Mahoney, KOAM News.
Other colleges in our area that were given the Buy Next Now COVID-19 tests include Missouri Southern State University and Ozark Christian College. The 6 state universities in Kansas, which includes Pitt State, will not raise on-campus housing and dining fees next year. The Kansas Board of Regents voted to keep those fees flat despite higher costs and fewer students because of this coronavirus pandemic. University officials told the regents the schools need to keep costs affordable for students. We want to issue a correction to a story we ran Tuesday regarding Watered Gardens Empty Bowls fundraiser. In that story, we said the event raised around $7,000 this year when it had actually raised more than $28,000. That money was split among 4 different organizations, each of them receiving $7,000. Pittsburgh Salvation Army is asking for extra support this year for their Red Kettle campaign. Officials say they still have more than 50% of their fundraising goal to go as the Christmas Eve deadline quickly approaches. Because of the pandemic, the organization hasn't been able to put out as many kettles in locations as they normally would.
You know, we're way behind on our kettle goal. So yeah, that's a concern for us because if we don't meet our kettle goal, we have to cut our budget in February. So.
Officials say money from the Red Kettle campaign goes toward helping families on Christmas and helping pay utility bills, rent, and mortgages throughout the entire year. Here's a chance to pick up some pretty cool, unique gifts. Take a look at that stuff. Spiva's Upstairs Gallery in Joplin has some unique handmade items from Joplin artists.
I would say that my favorite thing about having this holiday gift bazaar is that it gets a chance for local artists to really showcase their work and inspires them to create new pieces, and it puts it in front of a lot of people, and it supports them and it supports Spiva.
The handmade items are all under $150. Ground is officially broken for a new storm shelter at Neosho Middle School in Neosho, Missouri. The shelter is funded through a bond issue voters approved this summer. This is part of the Next Step initiative that was passed in June. The 5,500 square foot shelter will double as a learning and professional development space, but safety is going to come first.
And so, like I said, this is really getting us close to being at the end of making sure that every student and staff member has a storm shelter at their location.
Construction on the $2 million shelter is slated to be finished by the start of next school year. Average gas prices in Missouri are at an all-time high. Statewide, the average price of gas is $1.90 a gallon. While that's a slight increase over the last few months, it's still lower than Missouri drivers were paying this time last year, which was about 31 cents a gallon less. The national average price per gallon is $2.20 right now. Pediatricians are concerned that many children are missing measles vaccinations during the pandemic. Researchers at Nationwide Children's Hospital report a 10% drop in vaccinations starting in March of this year. Doctors say even as clinics began to reopen this summer, the number of children getting vaccinated remained low. The first major winter storm of the season has already dropped more snow on the Northeast than all of last winter combined. Fox News correspondent Molly Line has more from Massachusetts on how folks are coping with this blizzard.
I think it's fun. My son's having fun.
Kids throughout the Northeast are enjoying the first big snowstorm of the year, a major nor'easter bringing high winds and heavy snow from Virginia to Maine, with more than 3 feet reported in parts of Pennsylvania and New York State. In Boston, 10 to 12 inches is expected to fall before this storm is over, and officials are warning residents to be cautious, even after the snow stops falling.
Make sure you dress for the weather, take breaks from shoveling as you're shoveling, and make sure that you continue to move forward as you can, as best as possible, to make sure that you're safe.
But what has been a winter wonderland for some is a travel nightmare for others. Hundreds of flights have been canceled or delayed, and a Spirit Airlines flight slid off the runway after landing at BWI Airport. The heavy snow also causing traffic jams and accidents throughout the region, with several fatalities reported. And officials say conditions could actually get worse over the next day or so.
It's going to remain cold, so we should expect not only minimal melting over the next 24 hours, but whatever does melt may refreeze overnight.
But for now, many are taking the storm in stride and enjoying the snow before it turns to ice.
I was actually out on the roads a little bit earlier. They were kind of tough, but I feel like a lot of people are salting things and they're getting better, so I decided to just go for a walk in the snow.
Forecasters say the storm is expected to linger in parts of New England before dissipating over the Atlantic. In Waltham, Massachusetts, Molly Line, Fox News.
Doug will be back with another check of the forecasts after this break.
Well, of course, it turned out to be a much better day for us today. We finally broke 40 degrees, something we have not done in 6 days. So it was nice to get above that mark and have plenty of sunshine across the region. We do have clouds, which are rolling in now, but still a pretty good shot. Indigo Sky Casino and Resort, of course. This is just outside of Seneca, Missouri. Temperature is cooling back down. It's not extremely cold. It's not going to be near as cold as what we had over the past couple nights. 35 in Iola, Welch, 32 in Anderson, Lamar is sitting at 35 degrees. I think most of us will drop back near 30 later on tonight. But the southerly winds are going to keep our temperatures up just a bit. They're out of the south at about 5 to 10, but they're really going to increase during the daytime hours for us tomorrow. Let's go ahead and look outside. Currently 37, south winds 5 to 10. Humidity is at 76%. And you can see those clouds, which have been increasing over the past couple hours. These are mid and upper level clouds, but slowly thickening up tonight into tomorrow. You can see the cloud deck out to our west. This is our next storm system, which is centered right across central parts of Utah. And this system is going to rotate through tomorrow night into Saturday. Now, it's fairly weak. It's not going to do a whole bunch for us, but it will give us the clouds. The winds will pick up out ahead of it, and we will get a few random showers tomorrow night. Tonight's fine. We drop back into lower 30s. We warm up actually quite a bit tomorrow. We're going to go all the way up into the mid-50s. 31 to start, 49 by noon, high temp of 54. So it's going to be a pretty nice day. Now, look at the winds. Southwest winds at 15 to 25. Those are sustained, but the gusts are going to be much higher than that. Clouds continue to thicken tomorrow evening. By midnight, we'll see a few random light little tiny showers in here. A few light little showers into Saturday morning. There could be a flake mixed in, and then this system pulls east. Saturday is going to be a little bit cooler, but still not a bad day. Sunday will be definitely the better of the 2 weekend days. But look at the winds tomorrow. By morning, we're going to have winds gusting 25 upwards to 30. By afternoon, we're going to have winds gusting 40, maybe even 45 miles per hour. Let's go ahead down the road. Sunday looks great. Monday looks great. Tuesday looks great. Tuesday, we're going to go pushing 70 during the afternoon. Clouds increase. An Arctic front drops in on Wednesday. Most of the moisture is going to be east of us, but we'll see a few showers, may see a few snow showers, but the biggest thing with this system is the cold. So here's Thursday, Christmas Eve, and then heading into Christmas Day, there is a slight chance we could get a few snow showers on Christmas Eve, but it's really going to be the cold that sets in late next week. 54 tomorrow, 47 morning showers on Saturday, 50 on Sunday, 60 on Monday, 65 on Tuesday, and then 52 and dropping on Wednesday, and a high of only 35 on Christmas Eve, even colder on Christmas Day. So we'll keep our eyes on that system as we head through the next few days. Jordan?
Thanks again, Doug. Coming up in sports, Carthage Tigers hosting a super night against McDonald County, plus Pitt State women looking for a third straight win against Missouri Western. French President Emmanuel Macron tested positive for the coronavirus today. The diagnosis comes just days after he met with several European leaders. The presidential palace says he is experiencing symptoms, but wouldn't elaborate on what they are or how severe they are. They added that he will keep working while isolating for 7 days. The prime ministers of Spain and Portugal, who were with Macron, will also go into isolation. There's growing alarm in the nation's capital today as the nation's nuclear weapons agency confirms it was compromised by cyber attacks. Fox News correspondent Lauren Blanchard is in D.C. with the latest on the breach, as well as more on the extent of these attacks.
The list of federal agencies hacked by cyber attacks grows larger. The U.S. Energy Department and National Nuclear Security Administration confirming their systems have been compromised, but saying the malware has been isolated to business networks only and has not impacted the mission-essential national security functions. Still, the Cybersecurity Division of the Department of Homeland Security said the hacks pose a grave risk, adding the malware will be difficult to remove.
The administration is very focused on this. We are aware of the reports and investigating.
The announcement comes one day after the FBI, in a joint statement, confirmed multiple U.S. federal networks were hacked in a massive espionage operation, saying, "This is a developing situation, and while we continue to work to understand the full extent of this campaign, we know this compromise has affected networks within the federal government." Others attacked reportedly include the Commerce, Agriculture, Defense, and Justice departments. The attacks are believed to stem in part from a breach of SolarWinds, a software company based in Austin, Texas, selling IT products to hundreds of government and private sector clients. But officials warn a variety of tactics were used. Lawmakers responding to the cyber attacks expressed alarm, calling for a full congressional briefing on what happened, particularly as Russia is suspected.
Hopefully we'll know more soon.
Friday, the House Homeland Security Committee has scheduled a secure briefing on the latest hacks and to get a damage assessment. In Washington, Lauren Blanchard, Fox News.
A new comedy about a destination wedding weekend that kind of goes off the rails. Going to preview Sister of the Groom when we come back. Movie theaters threaten to fight back as major studios send more movies to streaming services. Some movie theater companies are reportedly considering a major drop in ticket prices for films released by Warner Brothers. Chains could sell tickets for films like The Matrix 4 for just $3 to eat into the studio's profits and maybe draw more people to those theaters. The move is in retaliation for Warner Brothers announcing any movie debuting in 2021 will be also on HBO Max the same day. The plan has largely been criticized by filmmakers and others, with critics noting this will only cause more harm to the already struggling entertainment industry. They say some of the upcoming Warner Brothers movies were expected to generate much needed revenue for theaters. Now, Disney pulled a similar move on a much smaller scale when it released Mulan on Disney Plus for a premium fee, of course. Alicia Silverstone and Tom Everett Scott reteamed for a new comedy about a destination wedding weekend that goes off the rails. Fox's Ashley Dvorkin has this story.
Alicia Silverstone brings the drama to her brother's destination wedding in the comedy Sister of the Groom.
Audrey, slow down.
At every turn, all kinds of chaos happens. There's drugs, there's other men, there's all kinds of crazy things that happen in this movie around this wedding.
I think I look old. Silverstone plays Audrey, a mother of twins struggling with turning 40 years old, and is reminded of her own imperfections when she meets her perfect younger sister-in-law, who ends up rubbing her the wrong way.
She's so relatable. Everyone has their insecurities and the things they struggle with. And this character, you know, she's not worked. She had a career that she loved, and she became a mom and sort of she chose that path, but then there's always this part of her that's unsatisfied and unsettled. But she ultimately finds her way and realizes that the path she picked was perfect and that she's so happy.
The film reunites Silverstone with her Diary of a Wimpy Kid co-star Tom Everett Scott. He plays a supportive husband who stands by his wife during her midlife crisis.
I really am glad that I got to be that guy with Alicia in this film. I think that it is important for a man to support the woman he loves through these crazy times. I mean, they're going to happen for both. You know, they have to do it for each other.
I want to live in the moment. The wedding comedy will be available in theaters, on digital, and on demand December 18th. Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
Weddings always go to plan, said no one ever. That's our time for tonight. Thanks for joining us. Going to leave you with video of Christmas lights in Afton, Oklahoma. Beautiful with all that snow, too. Hey, be safe. Do this all again tomorrow. See you then.